The American Civil War began on April 12, 1861, and after 17 months, the conflict had spread to Maryland, just 96 kilometers northwest of the capital, Washington, D.C. And it was here that the battle took place, one considered a crucial turning point for both the Union Army and the Confederate Army. Either the Union Army would create the conditions for President Abraham Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, or they would have to come to the negotiating table with the South to discuss peace. Due to the immense significance of the battle, both sides deployed large-scale forces with the determination to fight to the end. This made the Battle of Antietam one of the bloodiest single-day battles in American history. On September 13, 1862, the Confederate forces under the command of Robert E. Lee, General-in-Chief of the Army of Northern Virginia, launched an invasion of the North, advancing into Maryland. The total number of troops exceeded 45,000. At the same time, over 75,500 Union soldiers under the command of George B. McClellan formed battle lines to intercept the Confederate Army. The battle took place outside the town of Sharpsburg, near a small creek called Antietam. Plan: Major General George McClellan devised a three-phase attack plan. Phase 1, the 1st Corps, led by General Joseph Hooker, supported by the 12th Corps and a division from the 2nd Corps, would strike the Confederate left flank at the cornfield and east woods to break their defensive line. Phase 2, the remaining the 2nd Corps, under Major General Edwin V. Sumner, would split into two divisions to assault the center of the Confederate line at Sunken Road, also known as Bloody Lane. Phase 3, the 9th Corps, commanded by General Ambrose Burnside, would capture Burnside's stone bridge over the river, then attack the Confederate right flank and advance toward Sharpsburg to cut off General Lee's retreat. From 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. on September 17, 1862, the 1st Corps, led by General Joseph Hooker, initiated the battle with relentless artillery bombardments targeting Confederate positions in the east woods and along the Hagerstown Pike to support the infantry, and then split into three columns. The left flank, commanded by Brigadier General Abner Doubleday, advanced along the Hagerstown Pike. The center, led by Brigadier General James B. Ricketts, attacked directly into the cornfield. The right flank, under Brigadier General George G. Meade, moved through the east woods, targeting Confederate positions in the forest. Meanwhile, the Confederate forces responded fiercely, with two divisions under Brigadier General Alexander A. Lawton and Brigadier General John A. Jones, defending in the cornfield, east woods and along the fence lines west of the cornfield near the Hagerstown Pike. This set the stage for brutal combat, with both sides exchanging fire at ranges under 100 meters. After intense fighting, the left flank and the right flank of the Union captured a part of East Woods, but could not advance further and suffered heavy losses. At this point, Confederate Major General Thomas J. Jackson, commanding the cornfield and East Woods, ordered his units to hold their ground, using the terrain to cause maximum casualties for the Union. However, from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m., the cornfield changed hands multiple times, in contrast to the situation on the left and right flanks. Many Union units were thrown into disarray at the cornfield front. Seizing the opportunity, the Confederate forces, under Lawton and Jones, bolstered by Major General John B. Hood's newly arrived Texas Brigade, launched a counterattack against the Union units. Despite Major General Hooker himself commanding at the cornfield front, heavy losses and a temporary retreat were inevitable. After reorganizing their formations, with overwhelming numbers, nearly twice as many, the Union forces retook the lost ground, wounding Brigadier General John O. Jones and killing Brigadier General William E. Stark. Finally, they drove the Confederate forces out of the cornfield, forcing them to retreat toward the southern edge of the field. Around 7:30 a.m., General McClellan saw an opportunity for victory and ordered the 12th Corps, approximately 7,000 soldiers, led by Major General Joseph K.F. Mansfield, to support the 1st Corps. At about 7:45 a.m., General Mansfield was shot in the chest and died shortly thereafter. Command passed to Brigadier General Alpheus S. Williams, who continued the assault into the eastwards. Under pressure from the 2 Union Corps, Jackson's defensive line at the cornfield and eastwards began to falter. Although Major General John B. Hood led a counterattack into the cornfield, he failed to reclaim the position and then withdrew his forces southward to reorganize. At this point, the cornfield and most of the eastwards were under Union forces' control, but their formations had suffered severe losses and were in disarray. Additionally, Major General Joseph Hooker was wounded in the foot while commanding at the cornfield front and had to transfer command of the 1st Corps to Brigadier General Meade. For these reasons, around 8:30 a.m., the Union forces halted their advance to regroup. Meanwhile, the Confederate forces withdrew to defensive lines near the Dunker Church, preparing for the next waves of attacks. Casualties in Phase 1. Union Army, approximately 2,500 casualties, 500 killed, 1,800 wounded, 200 missing. The units suffering the heaviest losses were the Iron Brigade and regiments under General Ricketts' command. Confederate Army, approximately 2,000 casualties, 400 killed, 1,500 wounded, 100 missing. The divisions of Lawton and Hood suffered heavy losses, the Texas Brigade losing 80% of its strength.